Hey everybody, I'm here recording from the loser bracket of the OCTGN Board Game Geek tournament, and Upstock is legal, so here I go. Opening hand, well, it's got pluses and minuses to it, for sure. It does have Mr. Lee in the opener and Bank Job, which is usually pretty good against HB. Um, it also has a Sure Gamble and a Dirty Laundry. So I think, and it has the RDI, which is pretty good against most HB decks. So despite not having Desperado, I am keeping this one. It's got pretty much everything else you want in the opener. Katie Jones would be pretty good also, but I'm hoping that the security testing is gonna tide me over on that for a little while. I just have to make sure not to take brain damage before running with Yogg. My first turn is almost certainly going to be Dirty Laundry, Sure Gamble, security testing, and then maybe Fairy, maybe Mr. Lee. I haven't decided yet. The benefit of not playing Fairy is that if you run into a Roto Turret or an Ichi, you don't have to use your Fairy because you don't have any programs in play. However, if I run into something that's gonna deal me damage, could lose the Yogg. So always got to worry about that too. And it looks like he is install, take a credit. Okay, so no hedge fund, not really letting me know anything. So I don't want to reveal Bank Job. So I'm going to play Mr. Lee. If I play Bank Job, he's likely to, protect a remote server, so that way I can't just get the free money. It's also better if I have Desperado in play if I can wait. Though I'm gonna use my first couple clicks to face check, I think, next turn. Usually a good idea, if not just because like if you run into like a Victor 1.0 or something that you don't want to have to take a brain damage. Okay, so he immediately ices archives. So a little like anti-synergy, I guess, with Bank Job and security testing is that he's going to want to protect remotes anyway. And he clicks to draw a card finally. Alright, I'm going to need an archives because it's the place that I most want him to res the ice because it's the least useful. And I'm going to make 2 runs. Because he drew a card on his last click, and because he kept his hand, I'm going to run for R&D, hoping that it's better. But I'm going to do it after the archives run. Okay, and Eli, I'll just check out. Don't feel like clicking for 2 credits here. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why you want to run on your first 2 clicks against HB generally. This is probably a red code stack, seeing Victor 1. And there's an Ichi 1. Okay. So a pretty good start for him. I could just play RDI and click through Victor next turn, and it's actually pretty reasonable. Could also security test HQ first. He's only got 1 cred, so... If he does go, he's got 6 cards right now, so if he doesn't like really want to install anything, there is the benefit of if he like just makes a new remote server, say, I can security test there. He might just click for 3 credits. But yeah, this is the benefit of security testing. Or one of them. Now he's thinking he doesn't want to install ice, or he wants to just click for 3 credits and then discard instead, because he doesn't want to give me a server to free security test on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to security test naming HQ, run HQ, and then play the RDI. Oh no, I actually can't do that, can I? No, I can't, because it takes 3 clicks. Shame. But I do want to put R&D pressure. Like, if I can run R&D every other turn and just, like, get free looks, it's pretty damn good. Yeah, he does just take 3 credits and discard. Okay. He could, like, click install hedge fund if he has drawn it. But he would have had to draw it in, like, basically 1 card. The last card in his first turn. I'm going to actually check HQ here. This could be wrong. But I feel like I'll be pretty low on money. I don't really want to run there again, because I don't think there's an agenda there. I'll put a 3rd fairy on the bottom of my stack, I guess. Actually, I'm going to put the Mimic on the bottom. Like, if you just have, like, a ton of fairies, that's pretty good. I could run here one more time. There's nothing particularly scary. And if I miss Lee again, I'm going to have to discard. And I don't want to show him the bank job. So I'm actually just going to run HQ. Then I'll play a fairy. Inazuma, also good to know. Alright. So yeah, I'll just play a fairy. So he has Inazuma and Ichi probably also in his hand. So he's like just like a couple of money away from really really getting to me. I guess the brain damage on Victor you need the trace, right? Yeah. So it's less scary if he puts it in front of that. Like if he puts any old piece of ice here. If I RDI and then run there and then just click through, he's pretty much going to have to, like, he's pretty much going to have to Inazuma there probably. He could put the Ichi there, but I mean, I just ignore it. Luckily, he's having a hard time generating economy. Might have a restructure in his hand, not really sure. Yeah, so back to the fairy versus mimic thing. I'm taking the fairy mostly because, despite the fact that you want mimic in the long run, unless I'm having to like repeatedly break Rototurret or Caduceus over and over again, fairy is going to be fine for a while. Especially if I have 3 of them, it's going to be actually cheaper than ever using mimic. And like Ichi, as long as it's not in a zoom in front of it, I can just click through it. But I do have to watch out for that. I don't want to like play any icebreakers. It would be really nice to have a data sucker here. It's very good against the HB Glacier deck. Although so is the RDI. Hopefully Mr. Lee can, get me somewhere. I'm sort of relying on the hope that this bank job is gonna get me somewhere. This probably goes on HQ, I would think. Yep. So you started in 4, install money. Yeah, that's fine. I guess I'll name HQ, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for the RDI now. Quandary, priority wreck. Sweet. Good start. Now, I definitely have to be wary once I install a non-fairy icebreaker about 2 unresed ice in a row, because at any time it could be the Inazuma and the Ichi, or Inazuma and any destroyer, really. So I'd like to run without installing this Yogg as long as possible. Now, I suspect that's Inazuma. So I'm going to start with Lee. Ooh, Corroder versus Dirty Laundry, huh? I think I want Corroder. Oh shit, I took the wrong one. Well, that's okay, because I actually don't really care too much about Corroder right now. But that's not good. Let's run. Alright, so there's a rotor turret. Although he should probably ask me. Ooh, a knight, huh? That's somewhat interesting. It does help me break, like, Inazuma, for instance. Like, if I get the knight, I can just start plowing R&D more. If I get the account siphon, I could, like, run account siphon here and hope, but I would not be surprised if this is Inazuma. So I'm actually going to take the knight. Oh, put the account siphon on the bottom. And if I'm going to be playing knight, I might as well also play the fairy at this point. So I did just put 2 breakers on the bottom, so I'm going to need to special order some breakers. Luckily, the HB deck, for a while at least, you can usually get away without breakers for at least a sec. I do have like a couple options. I could install Knight and like Dirtle. I could install Knight and immediately try to account siphon him, leaving tags. Which could be dangerous. Alright, so he has 7 credits now. I could also just run R&D. Though I suspect that it's a quandary. It would be nice to find out. If it's the Inazuma, he gets to trace to me for a brain. But it's really just like 1 credit. And I don't care. Like, it's like I just spend 1 and 1. It's not a big deal. He's probably trying to build towards restructure, I would think. But it's nice that the security testing is like keeping him from trying to build a remote, because he just doesn't want me clicking for 2 credits. It sort of slows down the corp in the same way that like Gabe does when he like starts sneak dooring you and stuff. Like, you start having to like awkwardly manage your ice. Did he F12? F12. Alright. Archives. Because I don't want to run there. Alright, so let's check. Worst case scenario, I lose my fairy. Alright, quandary. It is what I thought. Alright. Now I could Dirtle. I could install Yogg. Let's look at cards. I want to really find a Katie Jones or something. Inside Job, huh? Doesn't do a whole lot for me. Neither does Same Old Thing, but Inside Job costs money and Same Old Thing doesn't. I think that's going to be the breaking factor here. Inside Job does get me past the quandary for like a click through once. But I don't care. I might even just discard the Same Old Thing. Because I really just want like Sure Gamble or something. Alright, I'm going to put Data Sucker on the bottom. Because I like just need a special order so badly. As badly as I also need a Data Sucker. Lee is really failing me here. Actually, how badly do I really need the special order? I guess I'll find another one. I'll put special order on the bottom. I'll play the Data Sucker, and I'll discard this Same Old Thing. Green level clearance. Okay. So that's not common out of the red coat stack. Red coats usually prefers to play like higher impact economy cards because you're going for like a longer game where you need to pay for more expensive shit. Although so far the biggest ice I've seen is Victor and Ichi, so maybe it's just fast advance with some Inazuma trickery. Anyway, next turn I'm almost certainly, if he doesn't ice ice R&D again, I'm gonna play Yogg and Dirty Laundry R&D. Hopefully he doesn't have what's it called? He's probably gonna install an econ asset here. That would not surprise me. Oh, it's probably not fast advance because okay, so he's building like a scoring server now. Regardless, I'm going to go for R&D. Hopefully he's not playing NAPD. Since he's playing Priority Requisition, he's probably not playing very many NAPDs, if any. So let's play the Yogg. And do this. Oh, sweet. Another Priority Requisition. That's lucky. Lucky duck. Now he, like, sort of has to... I mean, he can go for the score that he wanted to try, or, like, the asset or whatever. But whatever he does, he sort of has to protect R&D better. I can also now, like... I can run archives for the Data Sucker token to be able to get past Inazuma and Victor 2, which is pretty helpful. So, not totally sad about losing that special order. I have one special order, one Mimic, one Corrodor on the bottom. But, you know, between Knight and, like, clicking through Eli, he probably doesn't have that many hard on-the-run barriers. If any, even. Like, I think I maybe had, like, one or two when I was playing HB, like one Bastion, or one Bastion, one Wall of Static or something. Now I've got probably he's going digging. So is he going to let me in R&D again is the question. Probably not. Oh, of course, Trash's Quandary. Okay. Does he pay one? Yeah, okay. He says he suspects he can't recover at this point. Yeah, let's just run this Jackson Howard server just for 2. If I play Bank Job, he's like almost certain to start rezzing ice. Wait. Let me Mr. Lee, actually. Yeah, I mean, that could be Inazuma, and that would be bad. Yeah, I'm going to Mr. Lee first. I don't need the second security testing. This could be like Inazuma, and then I would have to use this fairy, but that wouldn't be that bad. If it's Inazuma, that's not bad. Yeah, so let's run it. Because I'm going to get to see two cards if it's not like a barrier. Like if it's like an Eli, then that stops me, but then that's all it does. I at least get to find out what it is. Now I know that the Inazuma is there. Then I can, now I can run over here. I might actually even want to play the bank job. Actually, it's also an instead of, so it actually doesn't work if I name security testing, so I'm just going to do a regular run. Okay. I have to target it with security testing. And then I guess I'll Lee. I don't need another same old thing, I don't think. I have like nothing of use. The Fem could be okay. He discarded two, but those were non-agendas. I'm actually thinking about next turn just going name archives with security testing, run archives, get a second data decker, get 2 money, and then like, I guess I'll just play the fairy with my last click. So now I've broken these twice, but I haven't had to install or pay any money to break it. I just get to do it on the back of fairy, which is super nice. Now he has to decide whether he wants to try and sculpt a hand with Jackson Howard, or if he just wants to like take 3 credits and discard another card. Having no Desperado is hurt. I've seen a lot of cards. Definitely should have seen one by now. 45 cards, 16. I've put, I think, 4 or 5 on the bottom. So I've seen like 21 cards. It's pretty likely. It's like at least 65%, I think. He just takes 3 and discards. Alright, so yeah, I'm actually going to run this plan. Credit install hedge fund? Did he find one yet? As unlucky as I have been to not find Desperado, he's been at least as lucky to see his little econ as he has. Unless he's just playing a garbage deck with no econ in it, of course. But having no Katie Jones and no Desperado, Econ has been a little light. I have had security testing, but I've had to work to get security testing working. Actually, if I find an account siphon here, I can blow him out pretty hard if I find it on the first Mr. Lee. What did he do? Takes 3 again, discards a card. So he's probably got agendas in archives. I could just do a regular archives run. Where am I not running this turn? The remote. Almost certainly. I guess I could special order Mimic run the remote, but I'm not going to. I don't want to run security testing this turn. Alright, so Lee first. I don't need a Plascrete. I'm going to put that on the bottom. I could keep trying my luck at random accesses. Now, why would he not draw with Jackson Howard? Why would he take another credit? Does that mean that he actually has 3 agendas in the bin? In that case, I really just want to go there before I go here. But I guess I can go here, then go there, then go back. So let's do that. Let's just win the game. Oh, yeah, that made it easy. Oh, well, that was fast. So, vindicated for playing the 1 RDI. Alright. So, I mean, the list that I've been playing, I finally cut quality time like everybody has been telling me to do for Mr. Lee. I realized Mr. Lee is actually really reasonably good if you draw him early. The nice thing about quality time is it doesn't lose power later in the game. If you're digging for something and then you find quality time, you almost always find it. If you're digging for something in the mid-late and you find Mr. Lee, you really just shouldn't play him because it's expensive and then you lose a click from drawing. Like, the first time, like, you play Mr. Lee and then you click him and then you're always worse off 2 clicks later. You're down 3 money and the worst of the top 2 cards in your deck. The second time you click him, you still haven't really broken even because you paid 3 money. It takes like around like a whole turn before Mr. Lee breaks even. Maybe a little more even. Quality time breaks even in about 2 clicks because you usually find something that makes you the money for playing it back. It takes a little bit of setup sometimes, but it's usually good. Anyway, so I cut the quality time because I'm playing the 1 night as a way to break Lotus Field. Which has been pretty good. I tried cutting Yogg for Gordian Blade, but Gordian Blade fucking sucks compared to Yogg. As you can see, I just was breaking things with Yogg for free, like Quandary and Victor, and I couldn't really have afforded to keep paying to break Inazuma and then Victor with a Gordian Blade. I guess I could have just broken. Oh, I guess 2 Kogates in a row is not unreasonable. It would have been okay there, but regardless, it would have been a little more expensive. The knight, had the potential to just like break me in on an account siphon 100% of the time. So it was pretty good there. And I'm not playing any clone ships, despite the fact that I am playing 2 parasites. I thought the clone ship, it can rescue your breakers, but it happens pretty rarely. Like, if you're just pretty careful about it, you don't lose your breakers very often. And you have tricks to get it even if you do lose a breaker. Like, you don't just auto lose. You have inside job fem. And then, knight, stuff like that. And I did, because I did want to fit that RDI, and the HB Glacier matchup is one of the matchups, one of the 2 where it really shines. The other one is against Astrobiotics. The reason for the HB Glacier matchup making RDI so good is, like, if they have a Victor or an Eli or even like a Heimdall on R&D, and you don't have RDI, it's not like a very good idea to run R&D ever. Like it like sort of takes away your ability to put pressure there. And yeah, you can like legwork in, let agendas accumulate in your hand in their hand after you lock out the remote. But losing an angle of attack makes them richer because they don't have to defend R&D as hard. They just like put an Eli there and or a Victor or whatever, and they're like, I'm done. Like an Eli for the first half of the game, and then a second Eli, and then you're pretty much done. You don't want to run through two Elis for one card. But when you have RDI, not only does it give you the ability, it never turns R&D off. You can always get an R&D for two cards. It's always reasonable. So I really like it there, and I also really like it against the Biotic and mid seasons NBN decks because once they get an Astro scored, the best way to beat them is to run R&D and get two cards. Just period. Like it's pretty difficult to keep them poor forever. You can do it for a little bit, but eventually they come out. And if you're not getting multi-accesses, it's difficult. They can shuffle their agendas around with Jackson Howard, or just pull them up when they need them with Fast Track. So HQ isn't always a reliable place to go. And once the Astro is scored, you're never seeing an agenda in a remote, most likely. So I do like having the RDI there rather than the clone ship for the parasites. And that was an excellent example of why you want RDI. If that was a parasite, it would have been okay. But like, what would I have done? I probably would have like parasited a roto turret, and then I could have gotten into HQ. But instead, I'm getting in on R&D where I'm always seeing new cards, and I'm getting two cards, and I'm putting pressure on a new server. If I, parasite roto turret and put pressure on HQ, yeah, that's pretty good. But he just res another piece of ice basically, and then that doubles the count siphon protection after he puts another one there. So good show for RDI there. I mean, it doesn't always win you the game in six cards, but sometimes it happens. Thanks for watching, everybody.